welcome. This slide says welcome. There are two pictures of parts of the MagniLink AIR system on this slide. Below that, it's the name of the webinar. It's turn your AT on its head, hang it from the ceiling. And I'm kind of glad that Kimberly's not here because she doesn't like when I say hang it from the ceiling. She thinks it doesn't sound professional. And she wants me to say mount it on the ceiling. But with this cute little title with the turn your AT on its head, I just felt like we needed to say hang it from the ceiling. So I hope no one is thinking that we're unprofessional for doing it that way. There's a picture on the left, which is our ML AIR Duo. That means it has two cameras. It is mounted on the ceiling, and one camera is a distance camera and the other is a document camera. On the case of the photo on the right-hand side, that is our ML AIR Uno, has one camera, as you might have expected. And this camera is a combination of distance and document. So you could use it for either. So an introduction to LVI. LVI has been in business over 35 years. I'm thinking it's 38. And they are headquartered in Bäckwa, Sweden. They make magnifier equipment and they make one standalone reading machine. We're really good at making magnifiers, and that's what we stick to. That's what we know. That's what we've been doing. We do the design and engineering, the implementation, the manufacture, the shipping right from Bäckwa. So it's all done by LVI employees. LVI America was started in 2018 and has been going since then. And we service the US and Canada. We have a number of dealers throughout both the US and Canada. The MagniLink AIR, our new and innovative product line, MagniLink AIR, brings a breath of fresh air to the video magnifier world. MagniLink AIR is a product family that consists of several different products and accessories that can be adapted and combined in different ways. The mainstay of the MagniLink AIR is our MagniLink software that is used on a computer, a PC or Mac, or on a control unit. There are different types of wireless and wired cameras, and other accessories can be combined in many ways for maximum flexibility. After Christopher does the MagniLink AIR session, we'll have a Q&A, talk about future webinars, and give you our contact information. You will learn, number one, to summarize the benefits of an off-the-desk solution. And I'll let Christopher explain what I mean by that. To discuss the additions to LVI's camera software that have been incorporated with the release of the ML AIR. To appraise the value of this technology at a specific site. So once again, those are your learning objectives. And now we have another picture. This is the MagniLink AIR Duo. For those of you who can see it, we have some students seated at a desk. For those of you who cannot, let me describe what's happening. There's a teacher on the right-hand side of the picture, and on the left-hand side, there are three students. Between students 1 and 2, there's a document laying on the desk. And the document camera from the ML Duo is shining down through a blue cone of highlight to that document. And then the ML Duo distance camera is shining down through a blue cone of highlight toward the teacher. So in the distance, you can watch your teacher. In the document area, you can see what's on your desk. And now I'm going to stop sharing and turn this over to Christopher.
There we go. You can see me, right?
I can, yes.
All right. And since you answered, I'm sure you can hear me as well. So that's a good start.
Exactly.
Hello, everyone. Good to see so many joining us at this webinar. And thank you, Kathy, for this brief introduction. And now I'm going to take over, as Kathy said, to give you a deeper demonstration of the product or products. Maybe we should call it that way. You will see me playing around with this remote. It has nothing to do with the products that we're going to demo for you. It's the controller for the meeting camera. So I will be moving around because we are now in, let's call it an orange box that we have created with banner ups. And behind me, I have a banner up that's supposed to give like almost like a classroom feeling. I have one desk here just in front of me, and a little further away, I have another desk with products set up as well. And the camera we're using for this meeting is on a mobile station, so I will be moving you around a little bit. So bear with me on that. As Kathy said, there are, in the MagniLink AIR, the MagniLink AIR family or MagniLink AIR concept, there is 3 cameras, the Duo, the Uno, those are mounted in the ceiling. And then you have 1/3 camera that is mounted on the desk called the MagniLink AIR Distance. The Uno and Duo are both wirelessly connected to a PC or a Mac computer. I will show you more of that later. I have to make sure you see what I'm doing. So let me tilt down the camera a little bit. That should be better. So in front of me here on the desk, I have a Duo, a MagniLink AIR Duo. And the reason why I have it here is because I just wanted to give you a view of it before it's mounted in the ceiling, what it looks like. So I'm holding up the whole product right now. It's 2 cameras in the Duo and 1 camera in the Uno that's mounted in a white metal box that is quite thin. Inside the metal box, you have the 2 cameras, or the 1 camera if it was the Uno. You have all needed electricity and electronics that will run this product. Closest to me here, the black piece up here in the corner is a router. And I will explain that in just a bit, what that is for. Once this is mounted in the ceiling in the classroom, all you need to do is, with this 1 power cord, give it electricity. That's all you need to do. In Europe, we have a standard inner ceiling solution that is 60 by 60 centimeter tiles. And our metal box is 60 by 60 centimeters, or maybe 61 times 61, of course. And this one will just replace one of those inner tiles to make the installation very simple. I know it may differ over there in the US, but of course, we also have a very thin and easy to install metal adapter that makes this product fit in any type of ceiling and no matter what type of material it is. As long as it's strong enough to hold something like this, that is 8.5 kilograms, which is about 17 pounds in the total weight. So let me put this down on the floor. Now we're not going to look at that anymore. I can also mention that user manual for the PC, user manual for the Mac, and an assembling and installation manual are all included with the product. There is an easy to follow guidance, step-by-step, how to install the product regarding the hardware, how to place it in the ceiling and how to connect it. And also, of course, then how to get it connected to the computer. I am now going to tilt down the camera somewhat here, where I may be almost falling out of picture, but that's okay. We are not going to focus on me today. On the desk, let's pretend this is in the classroom. If it was, I'm sure the desk is a little bigger than what they normally use in a classroom nowadays, but I wanted to just take a quick moment here to look at how clean the desk is. Because the camera is above us. I'm now looking with the meeting camera on a MagniLink AIR Duo that's mounted in the ceiling above us, above the desk. And you got one camera, which is the black cupola here. And then the second camera is in the black frame. The one in the cupola is the one that's doing the distance viewing, and the other one is the one doing the document viewing. And this is how clean the student's CCTV setup would be. And that means, of course, also that there is no equipment on the desk other than the student's laptop or computer or tablet that could be knocked out on the floor. I am now going to come over on the other side. I will sit down here with the laptop. And then I will zoom in a little further on the laptop. And we are going to go even deeper so you can really see what's going on the screen. That's better. I can just mention that I will be using a Bluetooth mouse and a Bluetooth keyboard, just to make sure that I'm not in between the screen and the meeting camera, of course. Before we dive into the software, I'm going to explain how the installation is done. So we have now installed the hardware, the cameras, the metal box in the ceiling. We have connected it to electricity with the one cord. Now I have my PC. This is just a standard Dell computer. I have to go to the Wi-Fi icon down in the right corner. I click it. It will, of course, show what Wi-Fi networks that are available here in this area. And one of them will be the MagniLink AIR Duo that we have above us. The router that's built into the metal box is giving us Wi-Fi directly. I press it, I enter the code that comes with the product, and I am connected. The very good thing here is that built into the router is also a repeater that's creating almost like a bridge so that it allows us to be connected wirelessly with Wi-Fi between the computer and the cameras, but also at the same time have internet access via a normal Wi-Fi network. So I can be connected with the Wi-Fi with my computer to the cameras, but at the same time to the school network. So I can have access to internet, email, cloud storages, etc. One other thing that I can mention here before we dive into the software is that, of course, the near reading camera or the document camera, the one that's looking down, is limited in how far you can see on the sides. I'm sorry, I'm in Sweden, I'm in Europe, so we're using the meter system. It's just about 1 meter times 1 meter. So just about 3 feet times 3 feet. That is, of course, to protect other students around not being viewed by this camera. So what I'm going to do now is zoom in quite a bit on the laptop so that you can see what's going on my laptop screen when I demo the software part of the MagniLink AIR Duo. That seemed to be fine. So I'm moving around the mouse pointer here just to show you that we are live. I will then zoom out a little bit, and then I will explain what we have in front of us here. There we go. So I'm currently in a split screen mode. That means I'm using both of the cameras now at the same time. I am live on my right side of the screen where I have my document reading camera. And I'm also live on the distance camera. So if there was a teacher in front of us now, I would see everything going on in distance at the same time. Both of the cameras are motorized, so I can control them in 3 different ways. I can use the mouse pointer and I click, and anywhere then I drag or go with the mouse pointer, the camera will follow. I can do the same thing on the distance camera. Left, right, up and down. The other way to control is short commands on the keyboard. I have A for left, S for down, D for right, and W for up. And by clicking these buttons on the keyboard, I'm controlling both of the cameras one at a time. The third way would be to use the icon bar, the function bar, that I can, by pressing Control H in the software, add a function bar. I can have the icons as big as I want, almost, or make them smaller. This icon bar or function bar has all functions in it. And by moving around the mouse pointer, or if I had a touch screen on my computer, I'm now able to press any of the icon and the function will be controlled. So for this demo, I will actually be using this function bar the most. I think that's easiest for you to follow along. So we are in a split screen mode, as I said, where we have the distance camera on the left. I can change these splits. And why don't we do that without the function bar, just to make it a bit clearer. So I'm now pressing the short command, which is X for that, to go over the different split modes we have. As you see here now, we are in the full screen split, meaning that only one camera is viewed in full screen at the moment. And I can easily jump between the 2 cameras that I have. The one looking down on the document, where I can magnify, of course, quite a bit. And perhaps we want to add a high contrast to that. Let's use the white text on black background. And by pressing C for camera, I'm jumping over quickly to the camera that's looking in distance for me. Let me go back to the split, where I prefer having the text on the right. And I will again put back the function bar. Some of you are familiar with our PC Viewer and Mac Viewer softwares. Those are the ones we used as foundation for the new version of them, where we are now also allowed to control these motorized cameras. So some of you are familiar with some of the functions in here that we have kept. And some of them are more the basics: magnification, the high contrast colors. You have the freeze function, you have manual focusing, you have contrast, guiding lines, masking, or curtains. You can easily save a picture that will be stored on the computer we're working on. And I can either do it by pressing F5 on the keyboard, or, as I said before, up in the function bar, it says picture and save, and I press. And I will then save what we see in the software on my computer. So for example, I can save what someone has been written on the whiteboard, and save that as a picture file on my computer that will help me to do my homework when I come home. I can record if I'm allowed to. I can start a video recording directly from the software by pressing Control F5 or the recording icon in the function bar. It's also capturing voices through the microphone on the computer, and the video will be stored on my computer. I can open pictures and recorded videos directly from the software. F6 for pictures, and Control F6 for videos. And sometimes I'm maybe a little too detailed when it comes to short commands, etc. That's not really what we're here for. But I want to do that just to have you understand that there is, of course, a structure behind all the short commands, and also to have you see how easy it is to use these functions, everything directly from within the software. And as I said before, you can control the software either here with the mouse, or everything is available with short commands on the keyboard. Let me move back in the icon bar by going left. I have now to pan left and right in the icon bar because the icons are quite big. So there are many that are coming out of picture. We briefly talked about the split screen modes and how I can change the camera. Like when I'm in the full screen with one camera, I can change to the other camera source. I can also move the split if I want to make one of the camera views bigger than the other one. And this is also working when I have the split horizontal. I can pan the camera directly from the function bar with these arrows. I pan the camera around, or as I said before, A, S, D, and W on the keyboard, or use the mouse pointer, press, and move it around on the camera view, and I will move the camera. The next is another useful function for productivity in a class, where it says 1, 2, and 3. And these are the 3 preset positions I have for the camera. And it separates the 3 preset positions I have for both of the cameras. So I can have different 3 positions for the distance camera and other different 3 for the near camera. It's always controlling the camera that's highlighted in the orange frame around. And I change by just pressing any of the cameras. And then that's the one I'm controlling. So let's do the distance here. Let me do this. Let me remove the, no, we can keep it, but I want to make it a little smaller. Then we change the viewing, the split to the full screen. There we go. And I will zoom out. And for those of you who can see, I'm now viewing in distance in the classroom on the board. I will now zoom in on an object. And why don't we take, the US is a little too big. Let's do Sweden. Sweden is up here in the northern part of Europe. So I'm getting closer. There we go. So here is Norway, Sweden, and Finland. We're just missing Denmark from capturing all of Scandinavia. So let's pretend this is one of the areas I want to have preset. This is something the student can work with the teacher to have an area on the whiteboard or the smartboard where the student wants to have a preset position, or the student, if the student is capable, it can easily find these positions like I did now. And what I do is when I want to save, I add Control, and then I click the 1, 2, or 3, the position where I want to save this specific position. So I use the 1 now for this area of the distance, and then we can go over to see what else there is in distance here. I know up in the left corner, there is a picture on 3 girls that seem to be from a, let's see here. Something like that. So let's save that as my second position. So Control and number 2. So as you understand, now when I will just press number 1 or Shift 1 on the as a short command on the keyboard, it will take me directly back to Norway, Sweden, and Finland. Number 2 will quickly take me back to the 3 girls we had on preset position number 2. And number 3 could be anywhere, but let's say, for example, on the door to see who's coming or leaving the classroom, or the watch on the wall, for example. One other function, let me change camera view to the near reading camera. We have a document here on the desk. And what I'll do now is I will have the system read this text for me. In the industry, we call it OCR, or text-to-speech. I either hit F4 on the keyboard, or I'm up here in the function bar where it says OCR. And one good thing here is we have spent many years, or our software engineers, they have spent a lot of time during the years fine-tuning our text-to-speech functionality. And there is the secrets are, of course, in the hardware components, the quality of them, but it's even more so in the software, on the programming part, to have it process the image as fast as possible, but still keep the accuracy and quality of it. So what I'll do now is I'll hit F4. There we go.
About LVI America. LVI America is a subsidiary of LVI Low Vision.
And it starts to read within a second once I've pressed the OCR function. Of course, I'm now able to change the volume up and down, the reading speed up and down. I can go backwards or forwards in the text. I can change the different viewing modes. This is what we call the text, how to follow along in the text while it's reading. I have the line.
Vision International, with the mission to make every day.
I have just a word in the center. I have the actual picture and the word below that's being read out. I can magnify the picture. I can magnify the word. I have the picture and the line. And of course, I can change the different high contrast or use true natural color, whatever works for me. And the software will remember the settings I'm using. So next time, if I exit the software like this, next time I start it up, it will start reading in this with these settings, just to help me be more productive and focus on why I'm in school. Let me explain over here. I will make it a little bigger so that it will be easier for some of you to follow here. So on the left, we are now in the OCR tab because we have in front of us the processed text from my document. It says document, save and open. And the difference, so before I explained that you can easily save and open a picture directly from the software, this is more of a document feature. So if I save here, I can save this text that I had on a printed material on my desk. I can save it into my computer as a zip file, a Word file, a PDF file, a TXT file, or a WAV file, which is an audio file. And that means I could save this text as a Word file and then open it up in Microsoft Word and start edit it. That's something that could be useful if I'm in, let's say, in a library or in school for that sake, working with books or documents or any type of information. I can also open a document directly from the software here where it says open. And what will happen is, let's see, I don't know exactly what's on this demo computer here, but here is a picture file. So I press open.
Lyssna på texten med följande program OV.
And that was a Swedish document I had as a JPEG file stored on my local, on this computer. And I opened it and it started to read that document instead. So if I'm receiving something on my email or a PDF file, or I have something snapped with my camera previously, I can easily open that directly from the software and it will be OCR'd and I can follow along in the text and make my notes, for example. I'm now going to go back to the camera view where we are back live. I will now turn it to true color. So you can see I'm sliding in my finger here. So you can see we're live in a true color. We added another feature in this PC viewer software version that's called Notepad. Some of you may be familiar with the product we have called MagniLink Tab. It's a tablet-based product where you have a notepad feature. Now we'll have also implemented that into the PC viewer. So if I press the notepad here, it will capture the image we had underneath the camera. Could have been distance as well. And then I'm able to play around in this document. You know what? Let me redo that. Let me change document because I just reminded myself that I had a text here that we can just play with a little bit. So let me do the notepad again. I will magnify a little bit and then I can pan around with the mouse. And this is a form or a test that I'm going to fill out. I have a pen available. If I choose the pen, I can choose the size of the pen and the color of the pen. I have a highlighter available, and the same thing here, the size of the highlighter and the color of the highlighter to highlight words or sentences. I have a text box, same thing. I can choose the size of the text and the color of the text. I think the text box in this case is quite efficient. So the name, my name is Christopher. And then I have added my name into the document. Number one test here is section 1, fill out any missing word. So it says number 1, summer, a beautiful time of the year. And even though I'm Swedish, I know that this should be is. So just to show you what it looks like, we can use the pencil and then we can do is. That would be easier, of course, if I had a pencil with and a touchscreen computer using this, but just to show you how it works. Now I can, of course, save this document directly from the software and then store it on my computer, and then I can email it to my teacher or to my student friends or to my parents, whoever it is. So that's another function that's now built into the software. The last thing I wanted to show you in the software here is that on the top left, or in the top of the software, we have the settings, camera, OCR, notepad. We have talked about the camera, OCR, and notepad functions, or some of them. The settings can also be worth mentioning here. In the settings menu, or in the settings, I have a menu on my left. And under each of these categories, I can do some settings that will customize the software or the product for me and my needs. For example, the different available viewing modes we have when I do the split screen, I can just press and gray out the ones I know I will never be using, just to speed up my productivity. I can uncheck the functions I know I'm not using that often, and they will be removed from the icon or function bar on top of the software if I'm using that. I have settings under video recording, the short commands. All the short commands are available here so that I can easily find what I'm looking for. I can also change any short command by just clicking on the short command and press any of the keys on the computer, and that will be controlling that function instead. Speech settings, OCR settings, where I can, for example, turn on automatic language detection. But under the last category, that's EUC, end user configuration, I can, with all the available, I can see all the available high contrast color combinations. As default, we have white and black, black and yellow, green and black, red and black, yellow and blue, white and blue. But that's quite many. And we have all of these, of course, to make sure that we have something that works for as many individuals as possible. But that doesn't mean that everyone will need all of these. And again, to speed up my productivity and customize the product easily for my needs, I can just X the ones that I know I will never be using. If I regret, I can always just click default and they will all show up again. So now we have white and black left here, but I can even make my own color combination. So let us make a black and orange color, if that's what works for me. So I will go back to true color or natural color here. There we go. And I will now take the remote to the meeting camera and I will zoom out. I'm hoping that you are following what I am doing over here. I'm trying my best. I will now have you, I will just show you what's behind me here. And that is just a standard MacBook. Oh, the camera freaked out a little bit. So the reason why I have this MacBook here is because I will connect that MacBook to one of the accessories that we have available for the MagniLink AIR Uno or Duo. I have it in my hand right now. It's slightly bigger than an iPhone and there is a small antenna on it. This is called Frame Grabber. What this one can do is take a HDMI, it can take a source and transfer it wirelessly into the PC viewer software. But it has to be from an HDMI output. So for example, it could be a projector, it could be a smart board, it could be another computer, which I will show you in this case, where I have my MacBook. So I connect the Frame Grabber to the power, one HDMI from the Frame Grabber, or to the Frame Grabber, maybe we should say, and the other part of the HDMI to the computer, of course. Let me now go back to the laptop that we have been looking at all the time. And then I will zoom in again, see if I can locate. I'm sorry. Thank you for your patience. It's a little more difficult than it may look like because it's mirrored. So I have to press left to go right. And that's confusing. Okay, so I will now reboot. No, before I reboot, I should show you again the different split screen modes. As you have seen me doing, so we are live here on the right on the document reading camera, and we are live on the left with the distance camera. I exit the software. So this will take me to my standard PC view. I start our software again. The reason I'm doing this is because I wanted to connect the third incoming source, which is from the Frame Grabber. Let's see if it's picking it up. I see something is picked up. So let me go to remove, let me remove the icon bar to give us a little more view here. So currently I have on my left, I have live here on the document reading camera. On the right, on the top, I am live with the distance camera. And I also have now a third split screen area, which is from the Frame Grabber. So let me change split to make it full screen. As you know now, I can jump between the three sources in this case, as it was previously the two cameras, but now we have two cameras and also an incoming wireless signal from the Frame Grabber. So what we see now is my MacBook. We see what's being seen on the MacBook screen. It's directly within the LVI software with the frame grabber. And on the Mac, I am now multitasking here. So I am now on the Mac. Some of you may be able to see that I'm moving the mouse pointer on the Mac, not on the PC. And what I will do is I will start the YouTube video that we have on the Mac showing super cute animals. I thought that was a good video to share. And it's playing live in the PC Viewer software. And the cool thing here now is that I am now able to use our functions built into the software or our software. So I can magnify the teacher's computer now to see what's available here. Or let's say this was a smartboard. I could have magnified the smartboard. I can change the high contrast. So I can add my CCTV functionality here. Maybe not the clearest when we have so many pictures here, but you get the message. I can snapshot here directly from the LVI software. I can record, I can split screen, etc. So this is an accessory that works for just the Uno or Duo because the frame grabber connects to the Wi-Fi we have built into the router we have built into the solution. I will pause the YouTube video and I will now take the controller again to zoom you out. And I am done with this desk, but we are not done yet. I told in the beginning that I have 2 desks here that are prepared for this webinar. So what I'm going to do now is give you a quick view on the second desk. You remember us saying in the beginning that within the MagniLink AIR concept or product series, there is 3 cameras. You have the Uno and Duo. Those are the ones that are mounted in the ceiling. But the 3rd camera option is called the MagniLink AIR Distance. I have it just next to me here. It's clamped or mounted on the desk by 2 clamps very easily. It's connected to my computer with only 1 cable. So I wanted to film this for you from behind so that you can see how clean everything is here. There's not a lot of cables because you need the one Ethernet cable from the camera into the computer. The external air distance camera needs electricity. So there is 2 cords coming out from it, one to the Ethernet cable to the computer and the power cord. I have in this case, a monitor here, an Acer monitor with a built-in computer. And I also have a product that some of you are familiar with, our MagniLink S portable camera that folds very nicely to become very portable. It's less than 4 pounds. I have both of these cameras now connected to this computer where, let me take you on a slide here. I will drift this mobile station over to the other side. That should be fine. And then I will join you here. So this is another PC, meaning that on this setup, we're also running the same PC viewer you just saw me doing everything I've been doing in this webinar. All those functions are available also here on this desk with these type of products, but not the frame grabber. The accessory I ended the previous product, that's not available here because I don't have the router here. Here I have a physical desk-mounted camera. I have in this case a second portable camera connected, and they are connected to my PC. Let me zoom in so you see what it looks like on the screen. Like that. So here, as I said, you have the same software. So I can, again, control the distance camera with the mouse like I do now, or with the short commands on the keyboard, A, S, D, and W, up and down. Zoom in, I have the preset positions. I can video record, save images, do OCR. On the right side of the screen, over here, I am live using the second, in this case, a portable camera that's also connected that will allow me to bring to the next classroom or back with me when I go home. Just to show you, again, I'm using the same software. So you have the icon bar on the top with all the same functionality. One more thing I wanted just to show you before I ask Catherine if there are any questions or if she can come up with something I may have forgot. I'm holding in my hand, showing you in front of the camera now, a controller, a gaming controller. This is one of our accessories that's available for these products, where with the joysticks, you can control the motorized cameras, and then you have the functions available on all these buttons. You're connected to the computer with just this one USB cable, and it takes the power from the computer. This is an accessory that will allow some younger students and some students with other disabilities to also be able to control this type of device. When a keyboard may be too complicated or a keyboard may be too difficult to use, then this is another accessory that's available. Catherine, I think I can probably go on for easily another hour. You know me, but I think I have covered everything I was planning to cover. Do you have anything in mind that I may have forgotten, or anything you want me to redo, or are there any questions in the chat for me?
There are no questions. There are some thank yous, no questions. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go through the last. Oh, have you tried it with the Xbox adaptive controller? And I'm not sure that I know what that is. Do you, Christopher?
I don't, but I know it doesn't. So this is the one, this is the model that we are selling as an accessory, but other Xbox controllers are working as well. If anyone wants to know about a specific model, I don't know, Kathy is maybe reaching out to us.
We have the specific model in the chat, so I'll send it to you when we're done. It's a switch accessible for physically disabled, switch accessible controller.
Can you repeat that one, Kathy?
The link is here for the controller that Steve Barclay is asking about. And he said it's switch accessible for physically disabled. It is in the chat, so I'll send you what he's saying when we're done. Yeah,
that sounds good. I'll follow up with you on that, Steve. I would say, just to make sure I'm saying the right thing, I want to check with some of the engineers, but I would say yes, it will work, definitely.
Okay, one of the questions is, what about changing classes? Can you address our thoughts about the Uno and Duo being in the ceiling?
Yeah, so that is a good question, and I should have included that in my introduction of the product. So these concepts are developed with the purpose of not being portable. You mount this ceiling mounted box in the ceiling in the classroom, and then it will stay there. Of course, it's not that difficult to move it, but it's nothing you do daily or weekly. But from one semester to another, of course, you can move it from one classroom to another, but again, not weekly, not monthly. What you can do, if the school allows you to, you can have more than one of these cameras. You can have them in multiple classrooms. So you have one in one classroom, a second one in a second classroom, etc. And then the student can connect to each one, which will be automatically connected as your normal Wi-Fi if you have the check the connect automatically box on the Wi-Fi control or settings. It will catch the camera that's available in the classroom easily. And one other thing to mention there is that you can have one camera mounted in the ceiling, Uno or Duo, and you can have multiple students connected to the same camera at the same time. They will all be using the same software installed on each individual's computer, but there are some limitations with that. Everyone can control the camera, and any control will be happening on all students' computers that are connected. So if student A is turning the distance camera left, that will happen on all students' computers.
The next question, thank you, Chris, for the next question. Effective distance for clarity on the Duo. This gentleman is saying it seemed blurry.
On the Duo?
Yeah.
So yeah, let me show you here. I don't know if you can see that. So we are in the middle of our office area in the headquarters here in Sweden. It's quite dark. That's the reason why I have added, let me come over. I have added this temporary lamp here. I also have added another temporary lamp just to brighten up the area, because all of these type of cameras are very sensitive to lighting, of course, and this is really dark area. But I can show you here on this one, because it's the same type of camera. It's just mounted in a desk-mounted arm. First of all, I can, just to make sure this is really clear, because the question is very important and good, I will zoom out all the way on the meeting camera. So I'm now in the same latitude as the camera. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6 long steps to come all the way down where the banner up with this school board is. I'm coming over to you. I will now zoom in on the screen we have here. This would be the same on the Duo because it's exactly the same camera. So there we go. I think that should be pretty okay. I will remove the bar. I will change split to have just the distance camera. I will zoom out all the way. There we go. That's the minimum magnification in this case. So you have the 2 orange banner ups on the side. Let us now zoom in on Sweden like we did before. There we go. And now again, we are talking about, I'm talking meters here, but approximately 6 meters away in quite a dark area on Norway, Sweden, and Finland text that is super small. Again, if I go out all the way, you can follow and just see the text disappear in the map and in the banner up. So maybe it's giving you a little blurry image. It may be due to the video meeting that we're doing, or I don't know, but I can just say that if you get a chance to see this product live, I'm pretty confident you will understand that the image quality is really superior. It's a full HD 1080p camera, and it's 30 times optical zoom on all 3 cameras, Uno, Duo, and Air Distance.
Christopher, I don't know if
yes.
I don't know if you're alone in the building, but when you were zooming in on the girls earlier, the picture of the 3 girls,
yes,
it was having trouble keeping that clear. It was almost as if somebody was walking behind the banner up, and it was a little bit in motion.
Yeah, I noticed that too. That was when I was on the Duo. That is correct. I did notice that.
Right.
It didn't focus on the girls.
Exactly. So now it looks much better.
It had some issues finding the focus, maybe due to it found it eventually, but I did notice that too.
Yeah. Okay. A question about price, Christopher. Can you give us a ballpark?
I almost wanted to throw that over to you.
Okay, no problem. I would say contact Kimberly. And this is a product that is so specialized. We didn't throw it out to every single dealer that we have. So we have certain LVI resellers that are star resellers, and they've taken a test and they've watched the videos and they've seen the webinars, and we feel like they're prepared to answer questions about this. So your first step would be Kimberly, and I will give you her contact information in just a moment. And she would point you to a dealer, and she can talk pricing with you as well. I'm just looking at Q&A, Christopher, give me 1 second. In terms of mounting the ML AIR,
yes,
to the ceiling, what is the ideal distance of ceiling mount to front of the room? It appears to me the camera should be directly above where the student is sitting. So if the student is in the way back of the room, is that going to affect how the distance camera works, or is there a limit?
So it's yes and yes. The ceiling mounted camera needs to be mounted more or less just above the student. There is a little give and take here, but very little. It should be above the desk where the student is sitting. And there is no limitation as far as distance. There is no limitation on any distance viewing CCTV in the market. Even this little guy that we have here, the MagniLink S camera that has a rotatable camera, can do distance viewing. It has no limitations as far as it will never stop working. But the further away you go from the object in distance, the less magnification, of course, you have. That's just the physics of it.
Right. I'm thinking it would depend on what the student needed as far as magnification. That would have to figure into how far back in the classroom it would be too.
That is correct. And almost spontaneously, I would not recommend a student to sit in the further back of the classroom. I would rather have the student in either the front or at least one of the front rows, just to avoid losing too much magnification power.
Mm-hmm. If they don't have a drop ceiling, the mount can affix to any ceiling, say a concrete or a plaster ceiling.
A concrete, yes. Can you repeat the other option? I didn't understand.
Plaster. it's, you know how you you have wallboard now where you take an 8x4 sheet and you tape it and mud it and it's affixed to the ceiling. Well, before that, there was plaster that you just ran across on some substructure.
Okay.
I think that the main thing, and this is a Matthew question, I think the main thing, Matthew, is to get your building supervisor, your maintenance person, or whoever takes care of the building itself, to be in on this early on in the project so that he can really know what he has to do. Christopher showed you that there's one power plug for the ML Duo. Well, you don't want to run that through the classroom. You don't want it hanging down from the ceiling. So best practice would be to have a power outlet in the ceiling, and you would plug that in above your ceiling. So things like that, you want to make sure you get your maintenance person or your grounds manager in on it at the very beginning of starting to figure out what you want to do for the ML AIR system. And then if there's any gotchas, if there's any, well, you know, I'm not allowed to climb higher than 10 feet and our ceilings in this room are 14. So we have to get a contractor in here to install it. Things like that. You want to know that ahead of time.
Yeah, that is correct, Kathy. And I just moved outside of the demo box where I've been most time today. And I am now quite far away from you, so I'm hoping you can still hear me well. But I am now looking at an installation that we had at an early stage in this project, where what we have here is the Duo product. Yes, it has a white camera in this case. Don't focus on that. But this is the product box. And up here, this is the adapter metal frame that can be ordered as an accessory where a standard installation is not possible.
The last thing, thank you so much for attending. And I just wanted to go over our contact information. Kimberly Klein is Director of Sales. Her number is 702-468-6611. That's Kimberly Klein. You can call her, you can text her. Her email address is kimberly.klein, that's C-L-I-N-E, @lviamerica.com. I am Catherine Gettle, Customer Relations and Marketing Manager. My phone number is 802-236-4404. My email address is catherine.gettle@lviamerica.com. Catherine is spelled C-A-T-H-E-R-I-N-E. Gettle is G-E-T-T-E-L. Christopher Caswell has done the demo today. He's the International Sales Manager. His email address is christopher.caswell@lvi.se, because Christopher works at the headquarters in Sweden. Christopher is spelled C-H-R-I-S-T-O-F as in Frank, E-R, and Caswell is C-A-S-S-W-A-L-L. And again, he's LVI Sweden, or no, I'm sorry, LVI.se. And Kimberly and I are both lviamerica.com. And all three of us are here to help, whatever you need. If, like I said, somebody was asking about price for the ML AIR, I would definitely start with Kimberly, and she will direct you to a dealer who could help you out. Christopher, do you have anything else?
No, not more than a big thank you to everyone that came and joined us today. And stay safe, everyone. And